Good afternoon, I am Angelini, and today I'm going to be talking about all 2021 comic book movies. I didn't want to make a video too quickly, but it's been a very long time since I made a video before my Oscar nomination video. And I did want to make this video a little bit sooner, but I've actually been very busy with my job. I was at a week-long meeting in North Carolina, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is, I guess, for this video is that last year was not a bad year for superhero movies, if I'm to be honest. There are some good ones and also some kind of bad ones. So let's start with my thoughts on the MCU. Here are all of my ratings for the MCU updated as of now. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's discuss the Marvel movies of this year. First, let's briefly talk about the 4 miniseries that I saw. I did not see What If. I'm gonna be real, I wasn't interested in seeing that. WandaVision was good. I didn't like the last episode, but I thought it was pretty fun, very intriguing, and Wanda's done pretty well. A character I don't normally love, but whatever. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I was kind of disappointed in. This was the one I was the most excited about because I was the most intrigued by the story leading up to it, and I actually thought the stuff with Bucky is done really well, but they dropped the ball with everything else, so 6.5 out of 10 for now. Loki was a surprise. I was not looking forward to it, and I enjoyed it a little bit more the more the time goes on. I think it might be the best of the miniseries, but I didn't love it enough to raise it above 7. And Hawkeye was also pretty good. It was the most inoffensive out of all of them, but I liked it. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Now let's first talk about Black Widow. Look, I have nothing to say about this movie. Nothing of substance, at least. I mean, I like the characters. The editing's really bad. This movie drops the ball on the villain and also drops the ball on Taskmaster. The lead character survives way too many situations and she's not even given that much to do. I mean, I liked Florence Pugh, Rachel Weisz, and what was his face? David Harbour. I like those 3 characters. But like, this is just the most generic MCU film in quite some time, and that's saying a lot. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for Black Widow. It was initially a 6, but I don't know if I'm ever going to watch it again, honestly, so 5 out of 10. Shang-Chi. I actually really like this movie. This is one of the better Phase 4 movies. It's better than all the miniseries, in my opinion, that I mentioned. I'd still give it a 7 because I don't love the third act. At least, I don't love the dragon fights. The fights before that, every fight before that is phenomenal. And I love the characters, except Awkwafina. I don't like Awkwafina's character, but other than that, the characters in this movie are fantastic. Tony Leung, who, I might be mispronouncing that, I'm sorry, but his character is really well written, and I actually recognized him for both In the Mood for Love and Chungking Express from Wong Kar-wai. Those 2 films are masterpieces, check them out. I really love this movie. It has very well-developed characters. The effects, for the most part, are fantastic, and the fights are just out of this world good. The humor, especially by Awkwafina, is really not very good, but that's if it wasn't for that and the dragon fights, this would probably be an 8, actually. One of the better MCU films. Eternals sucked. And I like Chloe Zhao as a director. I really loved Nomadland. Did it deserve Best Picture? No, but Best Director, yeah, and it should have won cinematography. Anyway, enough about Nomadland. I did not give a shit about anything that happened in this movie. This was so boring. I'm actually quite glad this didn't get a nomination for Best Visual Effects, because that would have stunk. I did not like this movie. Like, one thing I will give credit to, however, and I will bring this up later as well, is the way that it depicts speedsters. Even the much better movie with a speedster in it that I'll get to later depicted the stupid cliche of every shot of the speedsters in slow motion. This movie did not. It did it in real time, and I liked that. Too bad the characters in this movie sucked. I didn't like the movie. 4 out of 10, moving on. Alright, finally. Spider-Man No Way Home was great. I'd say it's the best of the MCU Spider-Man movies by far. I'd still give it the same score, a 7 out of 10, but I'm 7.5. It's much closer to an 8 than the other 2 Spider-Man movies from the MCU. The way it handles the nostalgia and the fan service is extremely brilliant. Rise of Skywalker. I really love the way that the villains are portrayed, except maybe Lizard, but Electro's done incredibly well. I like Sandman, how he actually wasn't entirely a villain. Alfred Molina was fantastic as Dr. Octopus. Willem Dafoe, holy shit. Willem Dafoe in this movie was so good. It wasn't his best performance ever. It wasn't Oscar-worthy like The Lighthouse or any of his films that he actually did get nominated for, like At Eternity's Gate or whatever, but still, nowhere near that, but he was fantastic in this movie. Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, who I used to be very antagonistic towards, because he was so well developed and well done in this movie, I'm starting to warm up towards him. I still don't like his movies, but still, I think he is a better Peter Parker in Spider-Man than I gave him credit for. Tobey Maguire was just as fun as he always was. I did not like Peter's interactions with Doctor Strange at first, and this brings me to a point that a very hot take of mine, in that I think Benedict Cumberbatch, with a few exceptions like Power of the Dog and Imitation Game and maybe Sherlock, I think he is an extremely overrated actor. But you know what can you do? I still like this movie a lot. The third act is fantastic. Even in a nearly empty theater that I saw it in New Hampshire when I was skiing. Almost nobody was there. Even in an almost empty theater, it was a very fun experience with everyone who was in the theater clapping and cheering. It was great. Love that. Oh yeah, Venom. Venom There Will Be Carnage is an anomaly, just like the first one. In that it's part so bad it's good, part actually good, and part really fucking stupid. But I enjoyed it. I don't think it's good, much like the first one. I don't think it's good, but I like it. So I'm giving it probably the same rating I give most of my guilty pleasures, a 5 out of 10. I don't even know if I recommend it, but it's not a bad film. I don't think, at least. I mean, some of it is really fucking bad. Before I saw the movie, I got spoiled the mid-credit scene, which kind of sucked, but whatever. But yeah, I like Tom Hardy. I really like Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. I've grown to like him a lot more than I did when the first movie came out. And there are some things I dislike, like Venom. When Venom talks, he's very difficult to say, Eddie, we kryptonite. Okay, I'm not even trying that stupid impression. Anyway, he's difficult to understand. Okay, now I'm gonna discuss the DC movies of 2021. First, Zack Snyder's Justice League. I like this movie. I think it's Zack Snyder's best film by far. It does have problems. Darkseid is not nearly as well done as I would hope he was. Steppenwolf and Cyborg are fantastic. I think those two characters are not even... to say that they were an improvement over the Justice League versions would be an understatement. And also, the scene where Flash reverses time, even if I dislike the excessive use of slow-mo, is one of the best scenes in any superhero movie the past 5 years. I'm not exaggerating. Ben Affleck's Batman and Henry Cavill's Superman are much better than they were in the previous movies, and that's saying something. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is good, but I really don't like the use of that stupid chant that goes on every time Wonder Woman shows up. I just didn't like that. The music is fine, but it's also kind of forgettable compared to the previous movies. I'll talk about Steppenwolf and Cyborg again. Those two characters were actually great. And the effects surrounding them were fantastic, actually. But yeah, so despite its 4-hour runtime, I think it's a very enjoyable film, and I really recommend it. Alright, now I'm going to discuss the film that made me want to make this video in the first place, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I'm saying that long title because, well, I want to distinguish it from the 2016 film Suicide Squad, because I cannot stand the 2016 movie. The only thing worth noting in the 2016 movie, positively at least, are a couple of the characters. Deadshot and Harley are enjoyable characters. I don't think they're great, but they're enjoyable. Diablo and Flag, both the performances and the characters are fine. They're not good, but they're fine. And memes of the Oscar-winning memes aside, the makeup on Killer Croc is really good. That's all I can say. Otherwise, Suicide Squad 2016 is garbage. It is one of the worst superhero movies of any of these big franchises. This is MCU, DCU, X-Men. It's one of the worst. Maybe even the worst. All that is being said because James Gunn's film is an incredible blast of fun from beginning to end. At this point, this is my favorite superhero movie since Spider-Verse. I'm not exaggerating. I like it more than just about every MCU film. And no, I'm not exaggerating because I'm a huge fan of James Gunn. I loved both of his Guardians films. I went on and on about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, probably longer than I should have. But yeah, so every character in this movie, with some exceptions, is really good. Ratcatcher 2 is my favorite character in the DCEU so far. Polka Dot Man, yes, really, has one of the funniest and also darkest running jokes I've ever seen that basically boils down to a "your mom" gag. And it's so funny and so dark and so creepy, and I love it. King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone, is a better Groot than the actual Groot, don't at me. I did not like Peacemaker at first, but John Cena... I'll talk about the show in another video, but John Cena brings a lot to the role. Idris Elba was cool. Like, I didn't love Bloodsport at first, but like, I like him more than Deadshot because, he has good aim and has a lot of guns, but that's not his whole shtick. Like, he reminded me more of Din Djarin from The Mandalorian than he did Deadshot. But yeah, Harley Quinn was good as ever, I'd say. Rick Flag was a huge improvement, and I didn't even hate his character from the 2016 movie. His character and performance here is significantly better. I do have some problems, like the thinker guy, the dude with the stuff on his head. That guy, I think, was underutilized and at best very forgettable. In fact, the two President General dudes, I thought they were very forgettable. And kind of, I wouldn't say pointless, but I didn't love their characters. I thought they were forgettable and pretty weak antagonists. Starro is a fantastic antagonist, so that was... I wish it wasn't spoiled in the trailer, but otherwise it was a great surprise. The movie's very well done. Not just the characters, but like the way that this film's really well shot. It's very well edited. The title card visualizations that are often used give this film a huge personality, far more than most of the MCU movies, actually. And the action's really good, and Taika Waititi's cameo, it was really touching, actually. And like, Ratcatcher 2, I think, is a very endearing character, as I said. She's my favorite DCEU character, honestly. I don't know, I really love this movie. Between an 8 and a 9, honestly. It's one of my favorite films of 2021. And that's saying quite a bit. Close to top 5, top 10 films of 2021, for sure. Maybe even top 5, honestly, because Licorice Pizza, which I discussed in my last video, has aged a little bit worse for me. In the next video, I'm going to be discussing the Batman and maybe also the Peacemaker show in detail, because I really want to talk about both of those things, more so the Batman than Peacemaker, but I didn't want to talk about them in one video, so yeah, I'll be talking about the Batman next. That's all I have to say. See you next time.